garbage. We only had one person reply, and Mr. Duran had spoke with multiple garbage companies in the process of this, and most of them said they'll pick up anywhere. So I'm not sure.
Can they do recycling too? I guess that's my question, because I know there's no recycling out here, mainly because it wasn't.
We had, I don't think you were at the one meeting, we had talked about it. We had mentioned if we went that route, that would maybe be an option, maybe not. If not, we had talked about also possibly putting a recycle dumpster here at the township building where people could bring stuff to it. But again, we haven't got any kind of pricing or anything yet. So, but if everybody's able to get garbage service, then free market is obviously always the best competitor as opposed to forcing everyone to go with one. The issue was that there were people, we were told that there were people who couldn't get it, and we get it, and what was the name of that company? RMK said that they would pick up anywhere in this township. So, well, they're actually, they'll be here next month to talk about that. So all that.
Okay. My other question is that, and Mr. Solicitor, you weren't here at the meeting, I understand, but Mr. Hill had mentioned about the water lines, there were red flags, and that's why you wanted the project ceased. Can you explain to us what the red flags are in the contract?
I don't think it was that I wanted the project ceased, but I think the issue had to do with the prior board, and whether, there's a new board now. The contract was entered into, relatively late in the prior board's term. But the question had to do with whether or not that contract would bind this board, and that's what I was looking at. And, so, that was the issue. And like I said earlier, I communicated with the water company's attorney as late as this afternoon, and they are definitely willing to work with the township on modifying what's on the table. And I think we heard earlier that's what, at least, I think that's what the board wants to do.
This board from being, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding though, that the contract was made, but your red flags had to do with this board's.
Well, let me step in. The red flag was actually like my word, which I may have misspoke when I stated that. And we actually had no intention of putting anything into a vote, but we had resistance from the audience, and they insisted we vote, so we voted. And the statement that I initially made was that the solicitor saw a problem. I used the word red flag with the contract, and the issue is the avoidability of it due to you can't bind a future board with a contract on a board. That's the issue. It would be no different than if we signed a 20-year contract with something we've just tied up the next 20 years of boards. You can't do that. So anyway, that's the.
Well, there's
that's
one
it in
other
a nutshell.
thing that I could mention that in the time that I've been practicing law, I had never seen a contract before where the entire balance of a large project like this was paid up front, handed over without any type of retainage or progress payments or anything like that. And that was something else that I felt, was certainly not standard procedure that I've seen in construction type contracts.
What do you mean, meaning it was paid for already?
Yes.
Yes, the township wrote a check in October or November for the entire balance of the entire contract up front in advance of any work being done on the project. So that was another issue that I felt was something that, that in combination with the change in the board were things that I had looked at.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and
I'm sorry, with the paragraph that left any and above expenses on us, which on a $776,000 contract, even if you were 10% over, it's still under $77,000. We have like $38,000. You're gonna have a bake sale to pay the lights, so that's part of the issue.
wait, can I have one more question? Sorry. I just wanted to, again, because you're here, Mr. Solicitor, can you please explain the ramifications of Act 13 if we have if it's upheld or if it's challenged? Can you explain to us in layman's terms, please, what it means?
I don't know. I mean, this has been going on for for several years. The Supreme Court recently ruled that the provisions under Act 13 that took away local zoning control from municipalities were invalid, was unconstitutional. That's been ruled upon. It's already been ruled upon. There are other provisions of Act 13 that the court did not address yet, and I can't tell you what all of those are, but that there's still some portion of the case that is still pending. But I think what most people understand as the main thrust of the case has already been ruled on by the highest court in the Commonwealth, and so that's already occurred. That means that this township, boroughs, cities, townships all over the Commonwealth do not necessarily have to follow the exact things that Act 13 had set forth in terms of restrictions, and you have your own ordinance. Your own ordinance is still going to have to be legal in other respects. It cannot regulate how to do drilling, for example. That would be regulated by the state. But in terms of placement and some other issues, we have an ordinance here right now. Other places have ordinances. The Supreme Court struck down a good portion of that farm.
So in other words, with Act 13, we can still regulate, or you're saying it's challenged, we can regulate?
The Supreme Court's already been challenged.
No, I'm just asking you, I'm still trying to understand this process.
Right.
Is that what?
I don't think I can explain it any better than I already did, and perhaps I'm not explaining it well enough, but that's the best I can do right now.
We gotta, Mr.
You can
Jones.
explain it.
With Jones again. Mr. Kendall partially answered my question, but would you be able to put out the total money that was paid to West Penn Water to put in the water lines both on Nature Way and Steubenville Pike?
You mean the monetary value for PA American Water?
Yeah.
What the check?
What the checks were written for?
It was $776,850 out of the account.
How about Nature's Way?
That was total.
That was total.
That's total. So, that was your total amount. It took our account down to $24,000. We received a check from Berkheimer after that, which was for $50,000. And if we did not receive that check from Berkheimer, we would have no money.
It would be $12,000
in debt right now.
Yeah. One more. Is the water line going to go on road right-of-ways, or do personal or private right-of-ways have to be purchased?
Well, then Steubenville Pike, it should be state highway right away. Since it's a township road, it's going to be.
But all of the roads that were originally included are township
Or state.
So the township wouldn't have to purchase any private right-of-ways in addition to the contract money?
No.
Who signed the checks, excuse me?
That was before us.
I didn't see.
Probably Mr. Capola and myself.
Okay. Ms. Vance?
Wasn't over 50% of that a state grant?
No, there was no grants whatsoever. We paid out of pocket. The original cost of the line was $935,307 total. PA American Water does a tap-in fee credit, which was $100. So you get $10,500 per customer for a tap-in. They estimated 15 customers, and they did and the township enacted a 200-foot tap-in fee, mandatory tap-in. So if you were within 200 feet. Your dwelling was within 200 feet, you had to tap in. Reading the MPC, I believe it's only 150, so I don't know if they were allowed to go over 150 and say 200, if that's over, would that be overstating state law then?
I would have to look at that.
Okay, so looking at that, the 15 homes that they counted, I couldn't get 15 homes within 200 feet. So then that would drop further. We would get less credit, and that $776,000 would go up. We would be on the line for more of $800,000 roughly. is what we would be on if people that were outside of that 200-foot mark didn't tap in at that time. So total project without tap-in fee was $935K. After the $858,000 from American Water for tap-ins, we came to $776,000. In doing so, we drained the CDs of the township, the Act 13 money from the township, the capital improvement fund from the township, and drained the general account after that down to $24,000. So bringing a township down to, people have more in the retirement fund than we have right now in the township, all because of a water line, serving 15 residents out of 2,000. So that's my answer, Ms. Vance. Greg Colvin.
One of those assets of the township are liquid. You made a study with before this contract. What was the rate that they were getting, and when the CDs were first by the township?
They were in the 90s. I think it was,
Were they at 5%? Yes.
we'd
We'd have to do research.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was, yeah, they were nice CDs, which you'll never get those today.
Let me get John and then Jim. Mr. Campbell.
John Gamble here. At one of the meetings, Mr. Capola mentioned that he had applied for grants through the state to help support this water line. Put a right to know request in, and the way it looks, were there ever any grants requested by Robinson Township? For the information I received back, nothing was requested for grants, which he sat there and said that he applied for grants.
Thank you for the information, Mr. Campbell. Jim.
How was the township able to amass $750,000 that they just had laying around? I don't understand that. Taxes didn't go down and roads are the way they are and things are. Well, how did we amass this money?
Well, I'll answer that. Maybe we can be careful how we answer that.
Some of the money was from the power plant. Okay, when we negotiated with Bologna,
Okay.
the concern I had as supervisor was that we needed money for monitoring, for legal, for even get healthcare, whatever, okay? So that money was, when I negotiated with Kramer and, well, Runnels, forget about Runnels, but with Kramer, we decided that money we kept aside.
And how much was it?
Guys, we gotta keep it to the board.
I'm sorry,
So-
I can't remember, I'm sorry, Steve. Money was, we had got money from the power plant, and that was to be put aside specifically for the power plant. And we received X amount of dollars over the years. I can't remember what they were, but that was what it was for. That's how we amassed some of the money. Now, the rest of the money came from Act 13 or whatever, I'm not sure.
Act 13.
There's what, 350,000 was from Act 13, yes, the impact fee money from the state.
$100,000.
The remainder was what was in the capital budget fund, and the money that was extracted from the CDs and the legal fund.
Well, what happened to the Bologna money, the power money that was supposed to be put there for things that Mr. Lucchino says that?
Well, can I answer that?
Was that money meant for
I
that?
actually don't know the answer to the question. It's my second meeting. I mean, if you know the answer and you want to, or
The previous administration got money into the general fund, the capital fund.
And how much was it?
I believe it was 105,000 in that legal fund.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that, but that's, I believe, the number.
Okay, well, I mean, I just want